evening, everybody. I'd like to call our May 13th meeting to order. Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Boyce, can you do a roll, please?
Yes, Mrs. Van Horn.
Here.
Mr. Sergio is absent. Mr. Jess is absent. Mr. Carlson.
Here.
Mrs. Sherwin is absent. Mrs. Kraska.
Here.
Mrs. Dale.
Here.
Mr. Kimmick.
Here.
Mr. Garcia.
Here.
Mrs. Shaw.
Here.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Boyce. Public notice, adequate notice of this meeting in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 entitled the Open Public Meetings Act has been provided by action of the Board of Education at its regular meeting on January 7, 2025. Notices to the Courier News and Star Ledger circulated in the school district, and a posted notice to this effect on the Board of Education website and Building Bulletin Board Administrative Headquarters, 51 West Cliff Street, Somerville, New Jersey. Okay, at this time, we are going to open the meeting up to public comment. Comment is invited on agenda items, non-agenda items, or any matter related to the school district. When permitted, public participation, hard one today, shall be governed by the following rules under bylaw 0167. Public participation shall be governed by the following rules. 1, a participant must be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface comments by an announcement of his or her name, municipality of residence, and group affiliation if applicable. Each statement made by the participant shall be limited to 3 minutes duration, with a total of amount of 30 minutes for the session. No participant may speak more than once on the same topic until all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard. All statements, questions, or inquiries shall be directed to the presiding officer, and any questions or inquiries directed by the participant to another board member shall be redirected to the presiding officer, who shall determine if such statement, question, or inquiry shall be addressed by the officer on behalf of the board or by the individual board member. The presiding officer may interrupt or warn or terminate a participant's statement, question, or inquiry when it's too lengthy, interrupt or warn a participant when a statement, question, or inquiry is abusive, obscene, or may be defamatory. Request any person to lead the meeting when that person does not observe reasonable decorum. Request the assistance of law enforcement officers in the removal of a disorderly person. Call for recess or an adjournment to another time when a lack of public decorum interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting, and waive these rules when necessary for the protection of privacy or to maintain an orderly operation of the board meeting. That was all for the robotics club. So at this point, we open the floor to any public comment. So is there anybody who would like to make comments? All you?
Big crowd.
Distinguished members of the board, Superintendent Levisco and friends, I see Principal Foley, packed house tonight. Jamie Bartuszak, Reddington, New Jersey. Just a few parting comments before I submit my paperwork to the district for a gold watch. Over the past 7 years, I've had the privilege, through volunteering within the high school, to be around and become acquainted with many outstanding young adults, educators, and volunteers alike. That kind of dedication in our students and staff breeds great success. Churchill said, success is moving from failure to failure without the loss of enthusiasm. We have great enthusiasm at Somerville High School. When students come together and align themselves around common goals and objectives, you obtain success. When students accept, respect, and support each other for what they have in common and what they can contribute based on their individual talents, you have success. And this holds true for every organization within the school. Could be robotics, band, football, and I think it comes down to 3 things. You set meaningful and achievable expectations. There's accountability for what's working and what's not. And there's achievement based on merit and results. And the board can continue to support these many great achievements by simply doing one thing. You need to say, we believe in you. By continuing to provide the tools, the resources, and the finances to breed success for our students, you say to them, "We believe in you." And I would also offer to the board, please don't fall victim to what I call the educational industrial complex. In my opinion, the two greatest regressive policies we've had within education in the last 25 years are No Child Left Behind and Common Core. It has created a cycle of conflicts of interest that are so intertwined and so incestuous, it's nearly impossible to unbundle. The same companies that create the curriculum, they tell the teachers how to teach it, they establish the metrics how to grade it, and they create the standardized tests to evaluate it. And if it doesn't work, they start over again. This industrial complex is compensated from end to end across that continuum. Nationally, more students graduate than ever before, but seemingly have less skills. This cycle needs to end. We can only hope that with new leadership in Trenton in the coming year, that we can reset education across the state. We can also address funding and this funding formula issues and the charter schools and the lack of controls within those institutions that really impact public schools and take away from resources that I believe should be available to schools like Somerville. So Sir Isaac Newton said almost 400 years ago, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." Let us continue to walk in the footsteps of these giants before us and stand on their shoulders so that we may see further. Thank you very much, and we appreciate your work for the schools and for the district.
Thank you for your comment. Are there any other public comments? You have a motion to close public comment, please? Second?
Second.
Mr. Carlson and Ms. Sherwin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Okay, I just want to thank Mr. Bartuszek, who walked outside, just for your comments and your support over the years. I know you've done just a tremendous amount of volunteering. You know, it's something, again, that, you know, as you said, the comments around just believing and making sure that people understand that is something that resonates, and you know, just having a vision and supporting a vision is extremely important. So
You're here.
I've always appreciated your feedback and your comments, so thank you. Okay, all right, moving on. Approval of the minutes. Resolved that the Board of Education approve the minutes of the Board of Education meeting as follows: April 29, 2025 regular meeting and April 29, 2025 executive session. Could I have a motion and a second on that?
So moved.
Ms. Van Horn, second. Mr. Carlson, any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Okay, great. All right, Board President's report. I just want to make a couple quick comments. I am the Board President, yeah, okay. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I just wanted to kind of point that out because that is something that is critically important within schools, within our community. You know, this is an area of focus that I think a number of people have as their role within the district. It's something, again, when we talk about extracurriculars, when we talk about programming that we have for students, all of those things to me dovetail into mental health. I mean, it's something, again, where, you know, people feel connected, they feel a sense of purpose, they feel a sense of value within a community. All of that matters. We have a number of counselors and specialists within our district that are, you know, really focused on that work, but it's something, again, that I know, you know, everybody contributes to. Classroom teachers, coaches, custodians, everybody, it matters. And I would just want to thank everybody who contributes to that, who keeps the focus on the right things in terms of students. You know, this is something, again, that, you know, I know administrators prioritize this. You know, when something's not right in terms of our mental health, the other things just don't matter. So, you know, thank you to everybody for the support in those areas. I want to point out just a policy review change that we're doing. There was some question last meeting around how we actually provide the public access to policy prior to a second reading or a first reading. So what we've done is suspended the second reading of the policies that we did our first reading of last meeting. We're going to hold off on doing a second reading until our June meeting. Those policies are posted on the website. Anybody that would like to go review the policies are welcome to do so, and that'll be our practice going forward from now on. The other thing I just want to point out about our agenda, this really includes a number of reorganization items. This also has a staff roster on there for approval for next year. I want to congratulate everybody who's included on the staff roster. It's something, again, that happens once a year where everybody is reemployed at the roles, and I want to thank everybody for their efforts around that and the work that goes into that. I know this is something that in the business office is quite a task at this time of year, getting everything organized to get contracts organized and get ready for issuance. So thank you to all those people that work behind the scenes on that. But you'll notice in some of the agenda items that these are really reorg items that have to happen, to set the district up for just operations going into next year as well. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Levisco.
So I want to thank everyone for coming out. This is really exciting, and in a moment we're going to hear from Tyler's robotics team, and this is one, when I came to the district, I was really excited to become more familiar with. Quite a reputation, and certainly great participation, and very competitive, both locally and even on a much wider scale nationally at times. So I'm excited to have you guys present to the board, and when Tyler asked, we jumped at that opportunity to have everyone introduced to it if you're not already familiar with what great work they do. With that said, there are some items that I'll jump on at the end there, but I think it's important that we hear from the robotics, and then I will do my normal items after that. Also, this time of year, many things are going on. Please check out our district calendar to see all the exciting events going on that we are kind of coming to a close. It is the time of year where we celebrate our students, we celebrate our staff, we celebrate our community, and really the coming together of all those different parties. And it's fun, it's exciting, it's a whirlwind, but it's one I certainly encourage you to take a look at so you can participate in whatever interests you or whatever you're connected to. There's a little bit of something for everyone in the community, and as everyone already spoke of, this is a special community, one that really comes together and supports our students. So with that said, I'm going to turn things over to Tyler so we can have a presentation of our highly regarded, our very competitive, and nationally recognized robotics team. So Tyler.
All right, so I'm not going to do much talking. I'm going to let the kids do the talking, but right off the bat, I just want to thank everyone for giving us an opportunity to come and present. The kids are, as you already know, are super impressive. I get a lot of opportunities to work with a lot of local teams, and through our organization, we work closely with a lot of other volunteers and people that make our events happen, and our team is constantly called out as a positive influence and a team that they can rely on for a lot of different things. So you should be very proud that Somerville students represent Somerville in such a positive way. And you'll hear in a second of all the cool stuff that we're doing out in our community. But our team, our club, our organization is unique from a lot of other school clubs and activities and organizations. Our activity is not inexpensive. It costs, we have a budget of around $50,000 to operate every year. And we are very thankful for all of the support that the district provides us and all of our sponsors provide us in their own way. So none of what we do and none of what you see them present on tonight would be possible without all of your support. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to pass it over to our student executive leaders to kick us off. And thank you again for the opportunity.
So, hello, we are Team 102 The Gearheads from the Somerville High School Robotics team. My name's Nick, I'm the senior president on the team.
And my name is Gray, and I'm the sophomore exec. This year, our team was tasked with building a robot that could complete ocean-themed objectives. We had to place PVC pipes onto sticks of coral, maneuver big exercise balls around the field, and climb on a cage at the end of the match.
To do this, we worked together to come up with a simple but effective design that allowed our team to succeed. We created a funnel intake you'll see on the back that could intake the PVC pipes, designed a 3-stage elevator to reach all the heights that we needed to place the coral, and we built a shooter mechanism to score the game piece actually onto the pegs. There's tags placed around the field, and we use them as a vision system so that the robot can orient itself and score pieces without us necessarily needing to manually orientate.
So this year, our team participated in 3 competitions at Robbinsville, Montgomery, and we also competed in district championships at Lehigh. At Robbinsville, we won the Imagery Award, which recognizes the aesthetic visual integration of team appearance and robot. At Montgomery, we were honored with the District Engineering Inspiration Award, which is the second most prestigious award in robotics competitions. It's given to teams who are a significant contributor to advancing respect and appreciation for engineering in their school, community, and wider organizations.
Winning this award allowed us to qualify for the district championship at Lehigh University, where we competed against some of the most prestigious and best teams in the area from New Jersey, Delaware, and Eastern Pennsylvania. And a big contributing factor to us actually getting to these competitions and doing a lot of stuff is our impact. So basically every year a small group of students, as you'll see over here, present at competitions and share what the team does for outreach. Now we're going to pass it off to our impact team because they can do all the talking for themselves. So, yeah. Speak to them, they got it.
Hi, we are Team 102, the Gearheads from Somerville, New Jersey. Just like gears in a machine, each team member plays a vital role in helping the group function. When we think of gears, we think about how they mesh together to create movement and power, much like how team and family members collaborate and contribute to a group's overall success.
As a team, we strive to maintain an environment where we feel safe, supported, and comfortable. We see mistakes not as failures, but as opportunities to learn and grow. And then in competitions, we gather for thorns and roses. We reflect on things that went well, that didn't, or things we need to improve on in the future. During this, everyone feels secure enough to share their vulnerable experiences with everyone on the team. This helps us communicate better and also connect as a family.
Speaking of family, we senior members feel almost like big siblings to our rookie teammates. And as the older siblings, it's our responsibility to pass on our knowledge and experience to help everyone out. We're always looking for new ways to improve both ourselves and the team.
For instance, every year we have a local theater instructor conduct a public speaking workshop, which helps us boost our confidence and connect more with the team. And for new members, it helps them come out of their comfort zones.
We also attend seminars such as Sty Splash and the Comcast Boot Camp. These allow us to learn new strategies and improve our interpersonal and leadership skills. Plus, before build season starts each year, our student leads attend a leadership retreat. For a full day of team building exercises, we get a feel for our roles during the season and learn what we can do to better develop the team.
As a team, we're committed to our outreach events that we allow students to all ages and abilities. We co-chair and co-host RoboCon and J with 5 other teams. It is one of our biggest events that showcases every level of first. We work all year round and collaborate with other teams to plan the 2-day event. We also mentored the Futuristic Bulldogs, a first LEGO League team. In the beginning, they struggled with communication and collaboration, but we as team mentors had to show them how to work together and not give up. Over time, they found their rhythm. Small victories like figuring out design flaw or knowing where a robot part goes really helped build their confidence and determination.
The real turning point came during their FLL competition, when they were awarded the Breakthrough Award. In that moment, the joy on their faces was unforgettable. Looking back, this experience taught us a lot about resilience. Their victory reflected their hard work and dedication, despite the challenges they faced early on. Their success not only validated their efforts, but completely transformed how they saw their own potential, and showed us that with teamwork and determination, anything is possible.
We also had the privilege of helping over 100 Girl Scouts earn their robotics badges. Some of these girls had physical, motor, and communication challenges, but that didn't stop them from participating fully in all of the activities. This is a day filled with learning, excitement, and hands-on activities.
Our outreach efforts also extend to other areas of the FIRST community. For example, scouting is a huge asset during competitions and a large part of how our team operates. We're always improving our app, Scout Radios, and new features are constantly being added and updated. The app also allows us to connect with teams from all over the world, and almost 10% of all FRC teams are registered with our app. Because of this, we've modified the app to embrace teams from over 30 states and 10 different countries through language translations.
Our Scout Radios information is also public available, which makes it easier for us to collaborate with other teams. Once a team has an account, they're able to customize forms, create new data points, and change how the data has been presented. We use our Discord server for communication, and we also answer questions to other teams that require help making Scout Radios theirs.
While fostering these collaborative relationships, we also recognize the importance of sustainability and legacy. We are privileged to have so many former members come back as mentors to help guide us and uphold the legacy of Team 102. Many parents of alumni have also stayed involved, motivating current parents and students to strive for success and contribute to a robotics family. This connection to our past strengthens our present and inspires our future, creating a cycle of growth and support.
Our bond goes beyond robotics. As we create lasting friendships and share member experiences, we grow both as individuals and as a team. The Gearheads are not just a robotics team, we're a family. Thank you for listening to present. Do you have any questions?
Are there any questions from the board?
Where did you get the name Team 102?
It's when you register with First, you are assigned a number, and we were the 102nd First team.
Yes,
From the competition, was there anything that you saw that inspired you to think about for the next competition?
I think it's just the way other people like build their robots, the techniques, or the teamwork they use that inspires us to just make the team better and work together more.
And also just, we go around in these areas called the pits where other teams work on their robots, and we spend a lot of time sending some of our members out every chance they can get to go talk to them and see what they can do and what they're doing, and just kind of understand what we can do to better develop our team and work better with their teams.
Do you ever do site visits like to other like high schools that also have robotics teams and just visit their facility and talk things through?
Not particularly in that aspect, but we do go to different high schools that will host different events,
Right.
or for like the kickoff where we understand what the game is every year and that gets released. We will go, us and a bunch of other teams will go to different high schools that host that, and we'll go to different workshops there, other things like that.
Great.
Do you get a chance to visit the middle schools? I think I heard something about the Bulldogs, and I was wondering if also, not only Somerville Middle School, but Branchford Middle School as well.
Yes, we do have a
Very hard.
We try very hard.
Very hard.
Yeah. I believe we were at the last, was it the Winter Enrichment Day? The last one they held for that at the Branchford Middle School, so that was really fun.
What is it that makes it hard? I'm sorry. Is it like logistics, like just scheduling time, or?
Yeah, gathering enough students.
Okay.
Money
Sure.
is always a.
I think it's a great way to like generate excitement, right? At the middle school level to then get
My
them
fourth graders are all
exposed.
pumped. They know everything about
Fourth
it.
graders,
I was going to say Vandermeer as well. I bet there's some kids there that really would love to hear about what you do.
Thank you so much.
Can you remind me what the name of the app is that the robotics team developed?
It's called Scout Radios.
Scout Radios? Okay.
With a Z.
Okay, very good. I was so sad I wasn't able to make it to the dinner this year, but I'm just always thoroughly impressed with everything that you do, how well spoken all of you are, the dedication and the time that you put in, and all the parents as well. It's so inspiring. I keep trying to talk my girls into getting involved with it as well, but I just am really proud of all of you. So.
Thank you so much.
Thank
We'd
you.
love to have them, by the way.
I'll let them
They're
know.
gonna come to our next event.
All right, so I'm gonna transition back to the slideshow. So here's some of our upcoming events. May 17th, we're doing a 3D printing and combat robotics demo. So it's basically gonna be a miniature version of our biggest event, which is called RoboCon. Basically, we're just gonna be showing people how to 3D print parts and kind of giving them a taste of like a different arena of robotics, which is combat robotics, which is more like actual fighting. But it's much easier to understand because it's like, oh, just fight each other. Right. August 6th to 8th, that's going to be the Somerset County 4-H fair. That's one of our favorite fairs. We have like a little booth, not a booth, tent, and hopefully it doesn't get rained out like last year. We will be just showing it off to a bunch of people in the community and letting kids drive our robots and just have a lot of fun. And then September 27th to 28th is RoboCon. Basically, it's a mall takeover. We take over the first and second floor. We have a mini, I say mini, but we have a full-size competition in the middle, like where Santa would be and all that stuff. And it's just a really fun event, and we have scout badges and all that. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah.
is where the Girl
That might
Scouts
help.
got their scout badges. I think there's a picture of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
that's the top.
I think that's me.
That's both of
Nick.
us.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So to kind of end this off, I want to thank you all for your support and all of the resources that you guys put into us. Specifically, I want to talk about the Houston trip. So this is a trip that we do biannually, and we went on it recently, a couple months ago, and honestly, coolest thing ever. At the trip, actually, in the competition venue, like I got to speak with like major companies like J&J, Comcast, all that type of stuff, right? And it was so impressive and like life-changing to look at like all of the new tech that people are coming up with, and how like the pipeline of robotics students into that is just so strong. Because like there was like internships being offered, sponsorships, everything that you could like see. And they let us like, I know that I got to drive around. It was like this, it was this medical device, I think, that like J&J was making, where like they can like basically take a sample that's like inside of you. It's like weird. They like stick it down. It's really interesting, really weird, but really interesting. And it was super cool to like kind of see that, mess around with it, and be like, whoa, that could be my future. I could do that stuff. So really impactful. And thank you guys so much.
Yeah, it was really great, especially as a kind of younger member, as a sophomore. It was great to see just like how big of the scope that FIRST Robotics can just have on everyone, because there were teams from tens of countries like across the world. There were like 600 teams from just FRC there, and it was really cool because I also got a chance to speak with the leader of FIRST,
President.
Yeah, the president of I got a chance to speak with the president of FIRST, and it was really cool to talk to him and just watch him present and talk about how he wanted to change the world with robotics. And that was really impactful for me. So, thank you guys for supporting us with all of that.
The May 17th, what time is that?
10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in Center Court at the mall, which is where they usually set up Santa Claus.
Okay, great.
He always takes his job. I don't know what's going on.
So I want to add a little something that was brushed upon in that presentation, and one that is often talked about by Mr. Sergio, so I'm actually sad he's not here to witness this, but something really special, and Bill had alluded to it when he talked about mental health, is the benefit of participating in extracurriculars. You have the camaraderie, you have the sense of being, the sense of being part of something bigger than yourself, but it's also the giving back. And I received an email after the Montgomery performance, I believe that was right before the district championship, correct? From a Haddon Heights parent of a child that participated against us. So Haddon Heights has a team, just like we do, and they were participating, and unfortunately, they had a problem with one of their machines in which a part broke down. They had a problem then that they wouldn't be able to participate and continue in the competition. Very quickly, our students jumped in, went over, assessed the situation, assessed the damage, helped them out, even gave the part, I believe helped install it, and get them back on their feet so they can continue in the competition. So when we talk about the importance of extracurriculars and the impact it has, and really how special our kids are here in Somerville. I think this is just a great example of it. So to receive an email like that, celebrating not the outcome of the students, but really what they were there for and why they're part of something like this was really special to hear. And I wanted to share with everyone because you guys are here, and it's more than just the really wonderful accomplishments and recognitions you've received. It's about these kind of things that are real world, real life, and really impactful. And I thank you for really being who you are and what you are, and making this more than just about a competition, but making it about helping others. And I want to thank Tyler for really setting expectations of a wonderful organization that is more than about the robots. It's about who you are and what you are doing here representing Somerville. So thank you. Are there any other questions?
I just had one more question out of curiosity. I know Bill's going to get frustrated, but I know when I went to the previous dinner, you had purchased a machine to make your own materials, right? So has that had a really positive impact on like cost effectiveness for your team? And I was just really curious about that.
Yeah, so the machine is really useful in like a lot of our production, and it's So the machine is really useful in like our robot production. It was really useful, especially when we were trying to like fine-tune things. So specifically, we have to be within a certain weight class, like between a certain like weight, right, to compete. And our biggest problem was like our robot was way too heavy. It needed to like lose a ton of pounds. So our favorite thing was to kind of have our CNC take our belly pan and kind of strip out a lot of the non-useful parts, cuts it out for us. So all we have to do just on the program is like basically digitally like cut it all out and figure out where we want things, and then it just does it, right? And we just like look over it to make sure that it doesn't explode or anything. Thankfully it didn't. And so stuff like that is really useful in just helping save us time, money, everything like that. But even on top of that, it's used for a bunch of things. I know even just like the small things that we need on the team does that, pays us dividends. So very, very thankful for that.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions?
One more thing. No, just kidding.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for the presentation, Tyler. Really for all your work. I know you're involved in so many different things. This is one of the ones that I think you should be proud of everything. But this is something again I know is really close to you as well in terms of your experience and presentation skill wise. Phenomenal. Great job. Really nicely polished presentation. Good job.
I came with a 500-word essay.
There you go.
Fantastic. Yes. Fantastic.
Many nights were spent on that essay.
All right.
I wrote that.
Sure. I'd like to turn it over to our student representatives now. Taya, Riley.
Hi. Last week was Teacher Appreciation Week, so happy Teacher Appreciation to all who celebrate. At our school, we held a Spirit Week for our teachers. So on Monday, they celebrated their favorite decade. On Tuesday, they dressed as their favorite heroes or duos or trios. On Wednesday, they showed off their college pride by repping their alma maters. And Thursday was Department Theme Day, where each department in the high school decorated their doors, and they all dressed up and they sort of like competed against each other. I'm not sure who won. Was there a winner?
I don't know who won.
Okay, they all won, so good job, guys. And lastly, on Friday, teachers got to embrace their inner students and dressed up as us, which I know they had lots of fun with it. So that was really cool. The 47th Annual Honor Awards will take place tomorrow at Somerville High School. Invited students are asked to report to the gymnasium no longer than 6:30 p.m. The Color Guard is hosting interest clinics on Tuesday, May 13th and Thursday, May 22nd from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. No experience is required to attend, and if you have any questions, you can see Mr. Ferguson. Senior t-shirts and graduation signs can be picked up on Tuesday, May 27th and Wednesday, May 28th at the Snack Shack by the football field. Pickup will take place at senior dismissal time, which is 12:18. The Valkyrie is looking for writers, photographers, graphic designers, and more for next year. So come to the spring/senior issue meeting May 14th at 2:20. There will be a student versus faculty volleyball game, which will be held in the gym on May 21st. It's sponsored by Student Movement Against Cancer Club, and all proceeds will be donated to the Megan Rose Bradley Foundation. That's always really fun.
So we also have a lot of musical events coming up for us, and especially in May. I think we have about 3 or 4. So we have the instrumental concert, which will feature the symphonic band and the wind ensemble, which will take place May 15th. So each group basically just performs a wide variety of their concert literature. We also have spring choral concert, which the music department's final concert of the year will be held May 22nd at 7 p.m. And they will kind of feature all of the choirs in general. We also have the Tri-M Music Honor Society induction, which will be held on May 28th at 7 p.m. at the high school. It recognizes high school students for their academic and musical achievements and rewards their accomplishments and service for the school. We also finally have our orchestra concert, which will be on Friday, May 30th at 6 p.m. also at the high school.
Another quick one. June's going to be our month.
Yes.
We got a lot to say in June.
Sports.
Senior events.
Yes.
Leaving.
Graduation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
So be ready for June.
Yeah,
It's
stay
gonna be
tuned.
fun.
Very good.
All right, I look forward to it. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was very well done. Do you want to hang out for 5 more minutes?
No, I think we're good.
You think you're good now?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it's actually perfect.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Do you want to wrap these 2 up? and then-
Yes. All right, so the next item here listed is CUSAC chronic student absenteeism corrective action plan. So as part of our CUSAC review that we went through this year, there are some items that come up, and if we do fall below certain thresholds, we have to create corrective action plans. And in this case, for 2 of our schools, Vanderveer and the middle school, we did tick right above the allowed number of student absenteeism. We are on that and put together an action plan to address that. The next item involving CUSAC would be another item I mentioned to everybody here, and that was that we also not only went through CUSAC for the whole district involving our academics and operations and governance, but we also were selected for the special education one this year, and we just received the results of that. So I'm happy to announce, and congratulations to Dr. McDonald and her team for their hard work, that we passed that one without any indicators that have to be addressed. I want to thank the audit team of Lisa Mulhern, Michelle Turnbull, Sarah Ligori, and Michelle Trainer for their hard work on organizing all that. That is not an easy task, and one that really reflects great work being done for our special education students. And then last but not least, an update on our curriculum audit. It's only been a couple weeks since our last meeting, and I do include these in our newsletter, but just want to give a couple items that have happened over the last couple weeks. First of all, our intervention teams continue to meet and assess our student needs, and what they're really looking at is adjusting schedules in the future to allow for more opportunities for interventions, both at the elementary and middle school, and there is some work looking at some of the course options at the high school to address students that need that support. Instructional support and pacing. So at both the elementary and middle school, we're continuing to address and implement our pacing guides and explore how iReady groupings can really maximize our ability to reach the students' needs at where they are. And this has also helped to look at how we can make sure that everything is covered for our students by the end of the school year. Those pacing guides are really important to allow for the horizontal implementation of our curriculum. We've talked about that a lot, but that is an important component to looking at our curriculum, is how it's implemented and at what time and at what pace. So that work is continuing under Mary Kane's tutelage. In terms of curriculum as well at the elementary level, we're looking at ELA by creating a literacy leaders team, and that has started to meet. There was the whole meeting, that's everyone across the district, and then now there are going to be cohorts meeting, one just at K-8 and one, at K-5, and then one at the 6 to 12, and then they'll come back together after some meetings and some planning to continue to look at what we're using, how we're using it, how we're implementing it, and adjustments and suggestions that can be made for everybody there. And in terms of MLs, as we talked about, we had the SEI training. That's the sheltered English instruction for 90 of our staff members. That will continue to happen on a yearly basis to address and get to a point where everyone receives that training. But we also have ESL teams that are looking at how we screen our newcomers. and making sure that, they get the help they need in the time they need, and also look at intake procedures and how students can, work themselves out of it and get back, to the type of instruction that all of our students need. And a lot of that's going to come through that implementation of SEI across the district. That can help our students that have English issues, but also our students that are grade levels behind. So a little bit of an update of what's been going on and the great work that Mary's been leading across our district.
Okay, thank you. All right. Riley said something that I realized was last week, and I apologize for not starting the meeting also by thanking our teachers and recognizing Teacher Appreciation Week last week. We are at that point in the year where everything just seems to just be rushing so fast right now, so last week seems like a very long time ago in schools. And we also have teachers on our Board of Education, so I want to thank teachers who serve on the Board of Education as well for just the work that you do here and the work that you do in your own schools. So, I don't want to understate that, the job that people have and the work that they do and, the commitment that goes into just being a teacher. So thank you to everybody for doing that. And again, I apologize for not pointing that out at the start of the meeting as well. All right, we are going to take a short moment to go into executive session for about 15 minutes. So this is a great time for all of you to be able to go do something else if you would like to. But thank you again for coming tonight and for the presentation. It was really fantastic. And thank you for everything you're doing as well. So at this point, the Board of Education of the Somerville School District in the County of Somerset will adjourn into a closed meeting to discuss items which fall within an exception of our open meetings policy and permits the board to have private discussions since it deals with specific expectations contained in NJSA 10:4-2B. In this case, we are going to be discussing pending or anticipated litigation. Be resolved by the Board of Education. We will now go into private session to discuss matters rendered confidential by personnel, employment matters affecting a specific or prospective or current employee. Any discussion held by the board which need not remain confidential will be made public as soon as practical. Minutes of the private session will not be disclosed until the need for confidentiality no longer exists. All appropriate persons who may be discussed in private session have been adequately notified. We do anticipate that the board action will be taken following this executive session, and we anticipate that it will last about 15 minutes. So can I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Ms. Sherwin, a second. Ms. Van Horn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, we are in executive session. Motion to
To be consistent, just to be consistent, back in.
Yeah. Motion. Was I supposed to adjourn the executive session? Okay, can I have a motion to return to public session, please?
So moved.
Ms. Sherwin, second. Mr. Carlson, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Okay, we are returned to public session at 7:22. All right, we do have a resolution that we're first going to act on as a result of the executive session. So resolution, whereas a dispute arose between a Somerville student eligible for special education and related services and the board, and whereas a student filed a litigation in response to the dispute between the parties, and whereas the parties have negotiated in good faith and have entered into a settlement agreement ending the litigation with prejudice, now therefore the board hereby resolves as follows. The board hereby authorizes the board president or his designee and the superintendent of schools or his designee to do all things necessary to sign and honor the terms of the settlement agreement which is on file in the board central office. Can I have a motion for that, please? Mr. Carlson, can I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Van Horn? Okay. Any discussion? Well, I guess we can't because that's executive session items. All right. Mr. Boyce, do a roll, please.
Yes, Mrs. Van Horn.
Yes.
Mr. Carlson.
Yes.
Mrs. Sherwin.
Yes.
Mrs. Kraska.
Yes.
Mrs. Dale.
No.
Mr. Kimmick.
Yes.
Mr. Garcia.
No.
Mrs. Shaw.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so moving on the agenda, we're going to move on to report of board items and committee reports. We have, I believe, 2 reports that need to be presented today, and they're both from Ms. Van Horn. So, Ms. Van Horn, Somerset County Association of Boards of Education reports.
Okay, yes, I attended the Thursday, May 8th meeting of the Somerset County School Boards Association. They introduced the 2024-2025 Somerset County Teacher of the Year, which is Stephanie Lashauner from Montgomery, who also happens to be the New Jersey State Teacher of the Year. She spoke about all education being done as a community, not as one person alone. She was instrumental in planning and is now teaching a course titled Skills for Success and Global Leadership that is mandatory for all 7th graders in the district to take to aid in social emotional learning. There were a few legislative updates regarding the Capitol Watch newsletter published quarterly on the NJSBA website, the budget woes of all the districts around, and cell phone use in schools. Board certifications and individual certifications were awarded, and new board officers were installed for the 2025 through 2027 term.
Great. Thank you for attending that. I also was able to attend that night, and I got to sit right next to Ms. Van Horn for dinner. It was very nice.
Yes.
So if anybody ever gets a chance
They
to go,
always have a wonderful
it's a really
dinner.
good dinner. You know, the students at the VOTEC actually prepare it. It's a very nice meal, and then you adjourn to go upstairs and have a very, I think, very nice meeting.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I would love to have the company. You know, that was actually the first time that we moved out of there for a meeting.
Right, right.
We usually have the meetings right in the
Nice
dining
job.
room.
Very nice job. All right, and then you also have a report
I
about New
have
Jersey
a
School Board Association.
report from the Saturday, May 10th NJSBA Delegate Assembly. Dr. Purnell updated all of the delegates on his 3 pillars of operation. The first pillar is content. They revised the new board member orientation program. They've completed the revision to Governance 2, which will be rolled out in the fall of 2025. They revised the board self-evaluation instrument, and the Leadership Summit training for board presidents and VPs was held this year. The second is connection. They launched the new NJSBA website, hosted a highly successful 2nd annual Women's Leadership Conference, launched the Equity Expo and Equity in Education Leadership Conference and Awards, which I spoke about at the last meeting, and they deepened the outreach to superintendents and BAs. The third pillar is advocacy. They launched the NJSBA Capitol Watch newsletter, which keeps an update on legislation, and secured the NJSBA representation on various working state level groups. There were 4 resolutions up for consideration. The first resolution was that local boards of education should exercise existing statutory authority to revise existing interscholastic competition policies to support the inclusion of esports as a valuable interscholastic competition, and to award varsity letters to esports high school participants to the extent that they deemed appropriate. And that passed 90% to 90 to 10. The second resolution was that all necessary and appropriate steps should be taken to address the school nurse shortage and to increase the number of candidates who are eligible for the nurse non-instructional endorsement from the NJDOE. That was a bit controversial, with several previous newly retired nurses speaking very much against it. And that passed 51% to 37%, with many abstaining. Resolution 3 was withdrawn, and Resolution 4 was that there should be permitted a limited number of state excused absences for participation in activities related to pursuing a skilled trade post-graduation, similar to the one that we voted on in December regarding military, which an update on that is that it's now waiting for a senator to sponsor it after passing the assembly. And then the meeting concluded. One of the actual earliest that I've been to, and all the ones I've gone to, I concluded at 11:30 in the morning, from 9. And that was that. Next one will be next October, I believe.
Okay, great. Thank you for that report. Any questions? I love that you handwrite those as neatly as you do. I was admiring that, so.
No, that's my sloppy handwriting.
Okay, so, well, there's my neat handwriting. So. All right, moving on, we are going to do consent agenda. So right now, we're going to move on the preschool through 8th grade items. So motion to approve that items 1 through 24 be moved upon the recommendation of superintendent of schools. Appointments and salaries contingent upon verified documentation. So can I have a motion for that, please? Mr. Carlson, can I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Van Horn? Okay. Any discussion? Okay, Mr. Boyce, can you do a roll, please?
Yes, Mrs. Van Horn.
Yes.
Mr. Carlson.
Yeah.
Mrs. Sherwin.
Yes.
Mrs. Kraska.
Yes.
Mrs. Dale.
Yes.
Mr. Kimmick.
Yes.
Mr. Garcia.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. So then we're going to move on 9th grade through 12th grade of district-wide. Motion to approve that items 25 through 65 be moved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools. Appointments and salaries contingent upon verified documentation. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mr. Carlson, second.
Second.
Ms. Van Horn, looking at this side of the room, see if anybody wants to do that. All right, any discussion?
I just had two questions.
Please.
The school breakfast and lunch prices, is there a change versus the prior school year?
Yes.
Is there a big change? Little change?
It's either 20 cents or 25 cents. I
Okay.
have the specific changes if you
Got
want.
it,
but
okay.
It's one of the two for all of those.
Got it, okay. And then just another question, I was just curious with the curriculum additions for the high school theater, calculus, and sports and fashion marketing, is that for the upcoming school year? And sports and fashion marketing are in just one course?
Yes,
That'll be interesting.
absolutely.
Is that for the whole school or certain grades? For-
Yeah, generally upper level students, but
Got it.
it is open.
That's it.
Okay, great. Any other questions? All right, Mr. Boyce?
Yes, Mrs. Van Horn.
Yes.
Mr. Carlson. Mrs. Sherwin.
Yes.
Mrs. Kraska.
Yes.
Mrs. Dale.
Yes.
Mr. Kimmick.
Yes.
Mr. Garcia.
Yes.
Mrs. Shaw.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, moving on to the agenda, old business. Are there any old business items?
I guess, just a point of clarification or correction. At the beginning of the meeting, we did a vote on approval of minutes. I think typically we do those as a roll call. Do we not? Just to see if individual members had
You could-
attended or not? And-
Typically we do, you can
and
do
on
it,
this-
you could do it either way. Typically we do it as a roll call. I just decided not to tonight.
Okay, I just remember from the NJSBA meeting that I think it is important that for those who weren't there abstain and that it's on the record just so that they're not held liable for anything that occurred during that meeting. Or in other words, they can't say yes to it, so I would like to have that corrected if we can.
Well, there were
Was
people
there an
who stayed
exception?
silent, that's why I paused, because
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there were.
I
people.
didn't say yay or nay or anything, but I think it was just because normally we do a roll call. on
Yeah,
that
and
portion.
that was my error, but I decided, yeah. So was there an abstention on that?
From that since I
Right.
wasn't there, so that's the case.
You did ask for abstention.
Correct.
So, Mr. Carlson, you would like to abstain? Okay, I'll have the record
Okay,
corrected.
thank you for that.
That was it.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay. Any other old business items? Can I have a motion to close old business?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Okay. New business, are there any new business items? Motion to close new business?
So moved.
Thanks, Mr. Carlson. You're all over this agenda. Second,
Second.
Ms. Kraska. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. All right. Okay, moving on, we are going to now enter into executive session. So the Board of Education of Somerville School District will adjourn into closed meeting to discuss items which fall within an exception of our open meetings public policy and permits the board to have private discussions since it deals with specific exceptions contained in NJSA 10:4-12B. And at this point, we are going to be discussing personnel or employment matters affecting a specific prospective or current employee. Be resolved that the Board of Education will now go into private session to discuss matters rendered confidential by personnel employment matters affecting a specific prospective or current employee. Any discussion held by the board which need not remain confidential will be made public as soon as practical. Minutes at a private session will not be disclosed until the need for confidentiality no longer exists. All appropriate persons who may be discussed in private session have been adequately notified. So can I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Mr. Carlson, can I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Van Horn, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that's, now, I also need, at this point, since we're not coming out of executive session to take action, we're gonna adjourn the meeting at this point. So can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Ms. Van Horn, can I have a second?
That's Ms. Sherwin.
Ms. Sherwin, yep, I was looking right at you when I said that, okay. Can I have a second? Ms. Van Horn, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Okay, we are adjourned and we are entering into executive session at 7:34. Thank you very much.
And though this is all about the superintendent.
Yes.